It was not inevitable that we lose 13 of our heroes. It was not inevitable that we go out there and leave tens of billions of dollars of American equipment and military machinery behind. It was not inevitable that we had people hanging off the wings of aircrafts. The chaos was not inevitable. It was a total breakdown of leadership because they were willing to do anything possible to get out of Afghanistan by September 11 because they wanted a September 11 party. Hey everybody, I hope that you're all doing well. As always, I'm here with an update on what has happened in Washington, D.C. this week. We are back in Washington, D.C. after being back to our home districts largely for the month of August. But just because we weren't boots on the ground in Washington doesn't mean that we weren't working on the front lines, from things going on in the district to things going on around the globe. August and early September had us out in the field rallying alongside all of you to oppose this insane idea of bringing a bulldozer into Jonathan Dickinson State Park and working to create a golf course there. But now that we're back in D.C., it's time to deal with the annual government funding deadline, which is right now set for September 30th. Now, you all know that I am not a fan of CRs, or as we call them, continuing resolutions. What does that mean again? It means that Congress resolves to continue doing the appropriations of the past. Now, Congress has been resolving to continue the appropriations of the past since Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House. They're just ways, basically, these CRs, to kick the can down the road, dodging the real fight of passing individual appropriations bills, which we in the House of Representatives have done. The Senate has done absolutely nothing to do this. They haven't looked at our individual appropriations bills, basically took them, dropped them in the trash. They haven't worked on their own individual appropriations bills. They've been derelict in their duty. But if we're forced into a continuing resolution, it better have some conservative firepower behind it in some way, shape, or form. That's why House Republicans pushed to attach something known as the SAVE Act. It's a bipartisan bill that requires proof of U.S. citizenship to register to vote in a federal election. That seems like it's something that everybody should be able to get behind. Hey, if you're going to vote in a federal election, whether for a representative, a senator, president of the United States, let's make sure that you have proof of U.S. citizenship. The House GOP already cleared the SAVE Act with the bipartisan backing back in July. Chuck Schumer, the leader of the Senate, the Democrat leader of the Senate, is refusing to let it hit the deck in the Senate in any way, shape, or form. And it's not the first time that Democrats have blocked conservative reforms passed by the House. Schumer's been running interference for the last year and a half, blocking our moves to restart President Trump's border wall or reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy to make sure that you, the American taxpayer, don't have to pay for the transportation, the food, the lodging, the everything else for those coming into America illegally. Let them stay on the Mexico side of the border, to hire more Border Patrol agents, defend parental rights. Now, every time Senate Democrats have had Biden and his so-called border czar Kamala Harris in their corner, they are running cover for them. But let me be clear, we're not backing down. We're going to keep charging forward, pushing what's right, and holding the line for the American people. All of you, all of the people in our community that are paying the bill, and it's not just a bill for these illegal immigrants. We see that families are paying a very real personal cost. We've seen people, unfortunately, murdered, raped, killed by drunk drivers. The list goes on and on of what are literally the most preventable deaths and crimes because they come at the hands of illegal immigrants. And it all comes at the same time, again, that you are paying for them. I want to switch gears to something else going on around the globe. Let's talk about China. The Chinese Communist Party has abused the international system to squeeze every ounce of it that ensures only they gain while the rest of the world loses. They want to see China and communism be at the top of the world instead of the United States of America and capitalism be leading the world. They are doing this not only in Asia, Africa, and Europe, but also right here in the United States of America, thank you to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and their weak policies. They have bought up our farmland, implemented spyware in our devices, milked the Inflation Reduction Act for every electric vehicle tax credit and microchip that they can get, House GOP members like myself, we've come together this week to put an end to all of this crippling and abusive, these tactics that are used by our adversary. Outside of cracking down on the Chinese land purchases, cutting Chinese influence on our college campuses, and closing loopholes for electric vehicle tax credits, we also passed the Countering CCP Drones Act. This was a bill that I helped introduce with Congresswoman Elise Stefanik of New York. It blocks drones manufactured by the DJI, a company in which the CCP is heavily invested, from being able to operate in the United States of America. We're keeping a Chinese Communist Party company out of the United States of America. Now, nearly half of all drones sold in the U.S. are manufactured by DJI. These drones have the ability to spy on America's military installations, target vital infrastructure, steal your personal data. By passing this bill, the House GOP gave the Chinese Communist Party the middle finger back. Now it's time for the Senate to do so as well. Let's hope that they have the stones to stand up to our adversary, China. Finally, Afghanistan. Let's talk about Afghanistan, obviously very close to my heart. The 13 Abbey Gate Gold Star families, very close to my heart. I've had the opportunity to get to know all of them. They are clearly not the only ones that are affected by loss from the war in Afghanistan, but they've absolutely become a symbol of the loss of the war of Afghanistan. And this week, the House Foreign Affairs Committee dropped a bombshell report on our nearly 2-year investigation into Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. You might say, why do I say Kamala Harris? Why don't I just say Joe Biden? Kamala Harris has freely admitted she was the last one in the room with Joe Biden as they were discussing what to do with the withdrawal of Afghanistan, which was absolutely a political operation. They conducted politics, not national security objectives. Now, we uncovered failure at every level, from the Biden-Harris White House down to the embassy in Kabul. Don't believe the spin. It was not inevitable that we lose 13 of our heroes. It was not inevitable that we go out there and leave tens of billions of dollars of American equipment and military machinery behind. It was not inevitable that we had people hanging off the wings of aircrafts. The chaos was not inevitable. It was a total breakdown of leadership because they were willing to do anything possible to get out of Afghanistan by September 11 because they wanted a September 11 party, a politics party anniversary, instead of doing smart things. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris made politics paramount over national security when it came to the withdrawal. They ignored the advice of the Secretary of the State, the Secretary of Defense, the CENTCOM commander, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and our NATO allies in choosing to withdraw troops from Afghanistan, let's say in the middle of the fighting season, the summertime, instead of doing it in the winter. In doing it at the HKIA airport instead of doing it out of one of the other large military air bases that we could very easily and readily defend because we've done that for 20 years. Those are just a couple of examples of things that they've done. They made mistake after mistake. They did not plan at all for how many people were going to have to be evacuated out of Afghanistan. They did not plan at all for the fact that the Taliban were taking over various areas of Afghanistan and they may not have an embassy to work out. These were things that they were warned about, but they absolutely just disregarded them, disposed of the information, and said, all of that be damned, we're going to conduct this political operation. As a result, 13 American service members died at Abbey Gate. The anguish felt by the families is still real to this moment. I've watched them shed tears right up until this week. They are the ones who paid the price for this withdrawal. Literally nobody else did. There wasn't one general, one official, one person in the State Department, one person in the military that was fired, lost their job. In fact, they've all been promoted. The only person that you could say in any way, shape, or form may have been held to account for something was Lieutenant Colonel Stu Scheller. If you don't recall who that is, he was an individual colonel in the United States Marine Corps that spoke out against this. And what did the Biden administration do? They literally threw him in the brig, threw him in the military jail for speaking out against this. Nobody else. Don't take my word for it. Read the report for yourself. In the meantime, I'll keep fighting to hold Joe Biden and Kamala Harris accountable for their conduct. The 13 service members that we lost at the Abbey Gate and the Gold Star families, they deserve absolute nothing less. As always, it is an honor to serve you. I hope that you all have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you all around. You all take care. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe. I will be back on YouTube with more exclusive content, so stay tuned.